Listen, check this out, my people. Look at this. This is a brawl between politicians and the Turkish parliament. Look at this. Matter of fact, pause. You can look at the title right there. Moment brawls breaks out at Turkish parliament. What species does this remind you of? The suits, the uniforms, the so-called professional dressing, all that stuff is coming apart due to the fact of the increase of the frequencies of the sun. All of that is coming apart, my people. All of that is coming apart. Look at that again. Yeah, they can't get along with the lie no more. They can't even agree on the lie no more. They can't even agree on the lie anymore. That sun is affecting everybody. So let's look at the last 3 hours. The last 3 hour interaction between Earth shields, and the sun. Let's just look at the last 3 hours. So we look at this. Let me just zoom in a little bit. As you can see, you can look at that square. You look at the energy on the backside of the planet. You can look at the magnetofield or the dome. Look at it being pressed down to your thermosphere. Look at the energy that's right above your hair and right above your head in your upper atmosphere. Like I stated, Earth is in the middle. Look at this energy that's being pressed up against the dome. Wow, double tap of the energy. Look at how your dome is interacting with the sun. Look at the backside of the planet. The dome get pressed all the way down to the thermosphere. And then look at this energy. All this energy that Earth is absorbing. Mother Earth has to release this. This will be released in the form of earthquakes, weather anomalies, whether it be tornadoes, storms, don't make a difference. Changes on our planet. Right here, taking place right before our eyes. And look at all that energy coming from the backside. So let's go up here to solar wind. Same thing, last 3 hours. Let's look how fast the solar speed is coming. Solar wind is coming. So man, the sun will be over here. It went all the way up to over 700 kilometers per second. These arrows represent the solar wind that's coming from the sun. Earth is right there in the middle. The red bow shock right here is the same thing as the magnetospole. This is the dome. This is the dome. And look at the interaction. Look at when Earth hits it. Look at the double impact of the coronal mass ejection or the solar wind that's coming from the sun. Look how it thins it out. And not only that, you look at the backside of the planet. Look at the arrows, the energy that is reversing back into the planet. Look how it's reversing back into the planet. I've never had so many problems with this equipment, my people. Look at the arrows reversing back into the planet. I've never had so many problems. I mean, lately as I'm doing this, I mean, this is something else. You see how them arrows reversing? And those arrows represent solar radiation. So what's on the backside of the planet, as I always stated, that is giving out equal amount of energy that our star in the daytime that was giving out. What is giving out that energy? Huh? What is on the backside of the planet? Pause. So let's look up this here and look at the sunspots. I don't know, my phone is moving slow. I mean, wow. Here we go. So all this action right here turned away from Earth. And now all this action here is slowly turning towards Earth. This action is here is going. See, all this action is leaving. And this action right here is coming. This action right here is coming towards us. I mean, this sun looking like acne. I told you, I'm gonna keep the sun and genetics in your face like acne, and I made it. And I am not changing all of that. I am very serious with that. I'm gonna keep the sun and genetics in your face like acne, because all this is boiling down to genetics and our divine connection to the sun. And that goes for all living species, birds, ants, all land animals and all aquatic animals. Your divine connection to the sun. If you don't have a divine connection to the sun, you're going to have problems on this planet, period. You're already having them. You're just trying to cover it up as much as you possibly can. Your government is working with you too, because they know what's going on. So they got to create, fake false flag operations that's coming our way while this great alignment is taking place, as Earth is being pulled in the middle of 4 gas giants. Abundance and gratitude to you all.
Sumerian texts describe them almost like gods coming from the stars, wielding incredible technologies. What if they were real and decided to tinker with life here on Earth?
Tinker how? Are we talking about splicing DNA, creating humans in some sort of cosmic lab?
Exactly. Many ancient myths talk about gods creating humans. But what if those stories are a simplified version of a more complex truth? Maybe the Anunnaki found early hominids and saw potential. Through genetic modifications, perhaps they kickstarted our evolution.
So we could be looking at an early form of genetic engineering.
It's a possibility. Our DNA shows sudden leaps in complexity that still puzzle scientists. What if those leaps were the result of direct intervention? There's evidence.
Sudden leaps in complexity. Sudden leaps in complexity. What I tell you, complex cell organism. Sudden leaps in complexity. How did you leap from there? Yeah, because they want to know, how do two different species sexually reproduce with one another? And more importantly, how do you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different animals as your genetic makeup? How is that possible? It's all coming down to the sun and genetics.
Of advanced astronomical knowledge in ancient cultures. How did they know so much unless taught by someone or something?
It could be the product of alien science, a species designed for primarily labor, it seems like.
The motivations are the million-dollar question. If this theory holds any weight, it suggests that our very existence is intertwined with beings from another world.
Now, again, that's where they want to put this information out there now, so that way they can seem like they are a part of the species in which they created them. They supposed to have a higher consciousness. No, you don't. They don't possess any, pretty much very little to none genetic material come from their creators. All of their DNA, all of their genetics come from the animals that we see in nature. And they put them together by electric fusion. And the majority of the animals that they use were also modified as well. And they're giving you this information out. They're slowly but surely trying to spoon feed it, because they understand the mind. Once the mind is broken, the body will follow it. And to have so many people believe that they are naturally, they are natural to this planet, and to come out and find out that they're not natural to the planet, and that they were used to do some of the most horrific and pull off some of the most genocidal acts on this planet, that is going to break a lot of people's minds. This is why Zecharia Sitchin, I keep using him and I keep speaking about it. This is why he was murdered when he decoded the Sumerian text. There was a group of extraterrestrials that came here to Earth and genetically modified a group of species to usurp all the resources off this planet. Now, who do you see causing havoc and taking from the earth and not giving anything back. I'm gonna let this play again in its entirety.
Sumerian texts describe them almost like gods coming from the stars, wielding incredible technologies. What if they were real and decided to tinker with life here on Earth?
Tinker how? Are we talking about splicing DNA, creating humans in some sort of cosmic lab?
Exactly. Many ancient myths talk about gods creating humans. But what if those stories are a simplified version of a more complex truth? Maybe the Anunnaki found early hominids and saw potential. Through genetic modifications, perhaps they kickstarted our evolution.
So we could be looking at an early form of genetic engineering.
It's a possibility. Our DNA shows sudden leaps in complexity that still puzzle scientists. What if those leaps were the result of direct intervention? There's evidence of advanced astronomical knowledge in ancient cultures. How did they know so much unless taught by someone or something?
It could be the product of alien science, a species designed for primarily labor, it seems like.
The motivations are the million-dollar question. If this theory holds any weight, it suggests that our very existence is intertwined with beings from another world.
So now when Joe Rogan said basically a slave race, exactly. They wanted to create a race of species that could not think for themselves but have the ability to copy and mimic. This is what they did. The thinking ability that's with these species, yes, they can copy, they can mimic, but they are not creative. They cannot create anything new. So a lot of the things that you see that are created new on the planet and just pop out, like the cell phones and how the different cars and these electronics and devices, all these are actually coming from other species that's in these so-called suits right here, and then making it seem like they came up with it, like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, you know what I mean, with Microsoft and Xbox. Come on, these are all genetically modified. These are species that are walking around in those type of suits. They're not coming up with no new ideas. These people couldn't even have the ability to maintain their own hygiene. They didn't even have sense enough not to poop and shit where they eat at. Just think about that for a second. So pause. Let me show you also something. When you share this type of complexity as genetic material, mind you, this is their DNA. This is what makes up your phenotype. Your DNA starts out as a small period. You start out as a small little dot. That's it. And your genetic material, along with matter, started to formulate your physical vessel. And this is what you started. This is what you turned into. So when people be talking about skin, this has nothing to do with color of skin. This is what makes up your color in your skin. Why do you see these animals, when you look at the animals, certain parts, look at the pinkness in these animals. Look at the pinkness, the feet. Look at the hair with the hair follicles, very thin. Look at the follicles in the hair. Look at the skin. Look at the nose. Look at that. It's pink. And if you look at them, their skin is pink. That's porcelain skin. It's mucous membrane. And this is not hatred. This is not racist. This is scientific facts. So at any point in time, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you can block it underneath if I am speaking about something that is not scientific facts and I'm just using my personal opinion. This has nothing to do with my personal opinion. You have to be able to explain to me how two different species that's not of the same race can sexually reproduce with one another. And then now you have to explain how the chimpanzee, the cat, the mouse, the cow, the wolf, the dog, the fruit fly, the zebrafish, the worm. You have to explain to me how did they all get together, take their DNA, fuse it together to make the living organism we have today. You have to explain that to me. And if you can't explain that to me, then that means that it's all a lie, and you have creators that have been here for quite some time, and they just laid in the tuck while they created you to carry out their biddings. That's all it is. And now we're coming to an end, and all the information has to come out. I appreciate you all. Abundance and gratitude.